Hello and welcome back to What's Next. I hope you all had a good Christmas break. Coming up in this first film week, we have an interview with Steve Cranson, and we're also reviewing The Inkling by Wacom. But first, Rob and Zoe are here to review the latest movie news.
This month in film shows 4 of the big guns for the Oscar nominations. Les Mis is the film based on the world's longest-running stage musical. The epic tale of strength of human spirit features some of the film's most famous faces singing themselves into 9 BAFTAs and 8 Oscars. The story follows the fortunes of ex-prisoner Jean Valjean in the 19th century Paris as he is hunted down by policeman Javert after breaking his parole. When he first meets a factory worker and her young daughter, their fates become entwined. Les Mis is out now. Django Unchained is released on January the 18th. This is the film by Quentin Tarantino and is nominated for 5 Oscars and 5 BAFTAs. The story follows a former slave, Django, played by Jamie Foxx. His brutal story with his former owners makes him the ideal sidekick of a bounty hunter with a taste for violence.
Together, they cut through the deep south, driven by the bounty hunters who aim to capture the valuable fugitives and Django's desire to rescue his wife from a cruel plantation owner. Previous Best Director and winner of the Best Motion Picture of the Year, Catherine Bigelow, brings out her first major film since. 0 Dark 30 tells the 10-year US quest to find the world's most wanted man, Osama bin Laden. It spans over the early stages of the hunt to the special ops mission that resulted in his death in 2011. 0 Dark 30 is released on the 25th and is nominated for 5 Oscars and 5 BAFTAs.
Daniel Day-Lewis tries out for his 3rd Oscar playing President Lincoln, the monumental tale of a man who shaped America. Lincoln is nominated for 12 Oscars and 5 BAFTAs, so will more than likely pick some up in February. Lincoln is set during the struggle of the president against the Confederate Army, but also within his own circle, he fights to end slavery in his country. Lincoln is also out on the 25th.
Now we're going to do the news.
Now we're going to do the news. Hello, guys. Right, I'll get started. So the Oscars, we just sort of scratched on that. But what do you guys think is going to win Best Film? I'll recap the category, because I'm guessing you don't know all. Okay, so we've got Amour.
Yeah.
I've not heard of that one. Argo, Beast of the Southern Wild, Django Unchained, which I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, same.
Les Mis, which I saw last weekend. Lincoln, Life of Pi, Silver Linings Playbook, and 0 Dark 30.
I suppose it's a bit early for me to make a judgment because I've not seen any of those films right yet. But,
take a wild guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Les Miserables is getting a lot of sort of popularity. I suppose it's going to be. It sounds like it's a bit like the King's Speech, you know, like where everybody wanted to see it just again and again. So, I suppose. I mean, that's probably the audience's pick, but it's whether the critics think the same.
You see, I don't. That would be my doubt about Les Mis because I think it's an audiences really love the film, but I think if you look at it from a critic's point of view, there's too many little mistakes along the way that sort of unthread it a bit. I guess like the 2 that I've seen off that list are. Well, Les Mis, what else have we got? Life of Pi, I went to see. Now, I thought that was a good film, but I can't comment about it being Best Picture because I saw it in French and I don't understand French.
Why?
So,
were you in France?
Yeah, I was in France.
I always thought you were bilingual for some reason.
I'm not bilingual. Our director's bilingual, but not me.
Oh.
But yeah, so we went to see it in France.
It's good.
Is it?
Yeah.
It looks good.
It's got a good twist at the end.
Yeah.
I saw Les Mis a few days after I saw Life of Pi, and I'm a big fan of the stage musical, but I was quite disappointed with the film, and I preferred Life of Pi.
Okay, there we go. Right, okay, those are shouts for Best Film. Zoe, that was a really bad throw.
Nobody ever catches it, Zoe, don't worry.
Okay, so The Hunger Games devours top prizes at the People's Choice Awards. It won 5 prizes at the People's Choice Awards and 475 million fans for the nominations in the ceremony.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense? No.
So,
it's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the Hunger Games. I can understand why there was so many. It's got such a huge popularity.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not read the books. So, I mean, I could never understand why they were sort of dressed really strange in the film. Yeah. But it was a great film, so I can understand why it's won so much acclaim, like it's said on that category.
Yeah.
That topic.
Like I think it. I after seeing the film, I read the 3 books, and like they're really good books, and it's one of those sort of classic things where you've got good books and good films, and they go together, and that tends to grow a really big fan base because like the people who get into it by watching the films go away and read all the books and get even more into it, and the people who've already read it watch the film and get more into it.
You can see that with things like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of similar to that, and you know, I think it's a good film, so you know, it probably deserves some awarding.
I liked it. I didn't think I'd like it.
Yeah. I didn't know what it was about going into it. Genuinely, I quite enjoyed it. So, Rob, I'm going to try and get this to you.
Okay then. Nearly.
Nearly.
Need to find a better strategy.
Yeah. Okay, this is about the Golden Raspberry Awards. The Razzies are sort of like an anti-Oscars. They award things for the sort of the worst films every year. And this is something that's quite funny to take note. Twilight, Breaking Dawn Part 2, it had a nomination in every category.
Great.
So it's great.
Figures.
Yeah, and some of the other things which have been nominated for the worst film include Battleship, the Oogly Gloves in Big Balloon in the Big Balloon Adventure.
That's got a catchy name.
Yeah.
Yeah, That's My Boy and 1,000 Words. That's sort of all the other nominees. I think they normally have some best and worst actors as well.
Yeah, it's generally sort of like they get the list of Oscars and go the opposite way for every single one of them.
Yeah.
I think I've only seen the first Twilight film, and I really didn't like it. So
we haven't seen any.
You haven't seen any? Okay. So all 3 of us have.
I suppose with all the sort of criticism and hate that Twilight gets,
we can't judge.
It's sort of it kind of might do it justice for the very last film in the series to get a nomination or categories. And since the Razzies is a bit of a comedy awards, I think that's sort of well played for them.
Okay. Right, that's cool. Thank you guys for this news talk. Okay. We are now going to have our tech review of the Inkling tablet by Wacom.
Graphics tablets are typically reserved for artists and designers, but as a filmmaker, a visualization is a key skill to be able to see what is going to be created. Storyboard makers rely on pen and paper to convey their designs, but imagine being able to transfer what is in your head to paper and then automatically transfer it to the computer. Today we shall be reviewing the Inkling by Wacom, a device that allows designers to transfer images that they have drawn on paper directly into the computer and image manipulation software. The device is not just used for storyboarders. All strokes are recorded electronically, which can then be imported as a raster or vector artwork into your preferred graphics application for further editing.
This means that animations can be made with this product. The digital sketch pen allows you to sketch with a real ballpoint pen on any paper, so creates a rough quality art. When you are drawing, with just one button click, you can record layers, for instance, to separate your prepared work to the final drawings. These layers are then retained after the import. It enables you to save time and export your sketches with layers directly into Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator, and saves your sketches in the following formats: JPEG, BMP, TIFF, PNG, SVG, and finally PDF. The product comes in at £149.99, with notebooks ranging from £13.99. It really is worth the money if you're passionate about animation and drawing. Now back to Matt with an interview with Steve Cranson and Stuart Walton.
Okay, so I'm now joined in the studio by Steve from Lilac Films. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
So you're going to sort of talk to us today a bit about how you set your company up and routes to becoming a freelancer. So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about what happened after you graduated from university?
Okay, well, I'm a graduate of Staff University as well, and when I first graduated, I had the same struggle I'm sure most students have had of where to go for work. I placed before with a variety of media production houses, but finding a role is a completely different ballgame altogether. So I was very fortunate that one of my applications got me through to an interview stage with a media production house in Birmingham called Mediascope. And that led to a full-time job as an assistant editor, which then went on to a full-time position as a lead editor in that company. Okay. And I was there for 2 years.
That's cool. Okay, so so what did you do after that?
After that, I made the decision to go freelance initially and later on set up the company. Just to clarify the difference between freelance and company, what I call a freelance is someone that works on behalf of other companies, whereas a company tends to have their own pool of clients that they deal with.
Sure.
So it's getting to that stage. So initially, I was a freelancer. I was working with a lot of independent companies, PR companies, film companies like myself now, and working on behalf of them and do what's called white labeling under their name. Yeah. I now have my own client pool that I deal with exclusively, and I'm quite fortunate that I'm able to give work to a lot of new freelancers that are coming through and in the place that I was in 3 years ago.
That's cool. Okay, and how did you find that sort of transition from being in a paid position by an existing company to sort of being on your own in the big wide world?
It's a scary question. It's not something that I would do now. I mean, at the time, I wasn't married. I didn't have a family. So it was the right time. And I think the best time to take risks is when you don't have those commitments, when you've just left university. And that's why I'd encourage students to take that opportunity to think about another option rather than going straight into junior positions, looking at what you can do yourself as well and considering taking on freelance roles, using that as a real learning experience, working for people that have been doing this for a long time and getting advice, just absorbing everything you can from that. Yeah. But it is scary. The money isn't great when you first start freelancing.
Yeah. And a lot of students go into freelancing once they've graduated. Sort of what are the main mistakes that people make along the way before they get to where they need to be?
I think there's a couple of things that come to mind of that. The first thing is price. A lot of students are so scared of putting, and freelancers are so scared of putting off their new clients and companies that they're working for on how much they're charging that they'll completely undercharge themselves. Yeah. This actually hurts the industry as well. So when you have people charging silly amounts of money to work for, we're talking a little more than minimum wage to do what is a professional job, that fear can often translate to people interpreting them as being lesser capable individuals. I think having confidence to be able to go out there and say, I can do this, I'm good at what I've done, I've got an education behind me, but also know that you're learning along the way as well. Yeah. So taking positions where you're not working solely on your own, but where you're working or shadowing someone else and working possibly in an assistant position is a great way to start and to look for those roles. But make sure you understand what the price structure is of that role. Use equity in places like that to research what you should be charging for that.
Yeah, and it makes sense because it also sort of reflects on you, because if you're charging barely anything, it's just to the people who are looking for you that you really don't think that you're worth very much. Whereas someone who charged a bit something more realistic, you know, they respect perhaps. So what was it that prompted you to switch from being a freelancer to setting up a company?
Freelancing was great because there's great diversity of work. I was able to do a lot more creative work than I do now. I worked with people like Reverend and the Makers, Pixie Lot. But what I really wanted was to set up something that could grow, something that could give me the opportunities to do this as a lifetime career. And I felt freelancing just wasn't going to offer that to me, that it was too hit and miss. I could have a month where I could have loads of work on and then have 3 months where there would be nothing coming in at all. Yeah. With a company, everything's in your hands. You're building relationships with clients. That really is a key word there. You're really getting to know them, what they need. And they almost do become friends as well from that. So dealing with them compared to dealing with companies that you're freelancing for, it's a lot easier because you can sell ideas to them, you can understand the marketplace that they're trying to get into, and you're a lot more in control than when you're freelancing and when you're at the mercy of other companies. There's still scary moments, get me wrong, but it's a lot more freedom in there than there is when you're freelancing.
Okay. And one last thing, we saw your show reel before you came on. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what went into making the programme that we saw?
Sure, okay. There's a couple of things that are in there, but the one I'm going to talk about is the time lapses. This was actually done for Visit Scotland and the Forestry Commission in Scotland. And what they really wanted to capture was something that had a bit of a viral capacity to it, something a bit different, but really showed off the beauty of the area to attract tourists to come and visit Scotland. So we came with the idea of developing a time-lapse series. Now, there's been lots done in the US, in places like Yosemite National Park, which are absolutely stunning, but there's been very little done in the UK. Now, this particular location I was shooting at had just been awarded a Dark Sky Park qualification, so it was an ideal opportunity to shoot some nighttime time-lapses and really show off what you can see in the park.
Sure.
And it was a great chance as well to use some really exciting kit for that. We had the new 5D Mark III out on pre-release for that, which was brilliant. And we had a couple of phantoms, some of the slow-mo stuff, which I don't think was actually in the show reel there, but it was...
Sounds fun.
It was great fun, it really was. It was one of those really refreshing jobs to come through that was really visual and really exciting to work on. And I think we're clocking close to 50,000 hits on the national, on the Visit Scotland website now.
Okay, that's cool. One last question. Do you have any advice for people leaving university this year?
If you leave university, I think first thing is take on anything you can in your field as well. Get as much work experience as you can. Work with someone that you can shadow. The best way to learn is at someone else's cost. So if you can get someone to give you some of their time to actually shadow them, follow them around and do some work experience, even if they're not able to pay anything, getting that work experience can be more invaluable than getting paid work at this stage, especially where your overheads are low. You can work a part-time job to fill things out, but that experience when it comes to actually the real world of working is invaluable because you've seen how the industry actually functions.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us. That's all we've got time for today. We are now going to go to our behind-the-scenes section.
In 2 weeks' time, Staffs TV and Sonar TV, Southampton Solent University's television station, are presenting NAS Division. Here are the highlights of the auditions.
My name is Nick, but I'm writing under the guise of Versus Robots.
Luke Spooner.
I'm John McDermott. I also go by the musical alias of Wild and Night.
I'm Alex.
My name's Tammy Davis.
I'm Charles, and this is Zen.
Guess you can live an ordinary life.
The entertainment acts are Versus Robots and Tammy, but we are still currently looking for bands to apply to be a live entertainment act. So if you're interested, visit our website for more details, staffstv.co.uk. But our winner was John McDermott, and he will be representing Staffordshire University. Let's take a look at his audition to finish off the show.
Gotta leave this dead end town. Gotta leave this life from falling down. Gotta hold my life and hope falling. 'Cause in the end you never get the best. These dead end streets, these dead end places to meet. Gotta leave, gotta leave. Got my bags right by the door. Can't Gonna go up in my face. Gonna go where them family is. Gonna go and say everything and see what the new things bring. These dead end streets, these dead end faces of me. Gotta leave.